This is Warriors Anonymous.
Up the Wahs! Welcome along, everybody. What a time to be alive for Warriors fans. This is the latest edition of Warriors Anonymous. And, well, what a week it's been. Let's get into it. My name is Jerry Cronin, and let's bring in the lads for the special Matariki edition of Warriors Anonymous as well. So let's bring in, first of all, the man who was featuring with the Warriorholic during the week, Daniel Wharakura. Bro, how are you, man?
Yeah, Manawatia Matariki. Awesome, whānau. I am fucking stoked about this week. It's been a massive week for the Wahs, and obviously a great game. So, yeah, very happy.
Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. We've also got the Sauce Boys. First of all, Moneta Sauce. How are you, my man?
Happy Matariki. Yeah, what a day. Sean Johnson, second kid. And not forgetting G's coming out soon too. And and Warriors take it out with a convincing win. And a lot of people are saying, we haven't taken out a top 4 team. Well, this only proves our point that we could be grand final contenders. So up the Wahs.
Indeed, we don't care for curses or stuff this year. We're just like let's just knock it all down.
You're breaking every trend and stat.
That's it.
Up.
The drought breakers, and also we've got the man renamed Sostradamus, Isaac Saucy, bro. How are you? And what wisdom have you got for us this week?
We call him Professor X or something. Oh, he just broke. He just paused.
Is he there?
No, I didn't. I just didn't say anything.
Contemplating.
Angry.
He's trying to get you with his mind control now. He's fucking with you.
I love it. All right, boys. Well, you okay? Did you have something?
They're getting some water, some H2O.
H2O.
Maybe that's the secret to seeing the future, perhaps. Now, it's been a bit of a crazy week as well for us here at Warriors Anonymous. If you've sort of, unless you missed it during the week, we sort of did something a little bit different, and that is that we launched a fan song, for our great team, and just during the week it kind of went viral, which was
it went viral, mate.
Yeah.
It was all you,
No
G.
kind of about it. No kind of.
You take all the credit, G. It was all you.
Oh, bro, it's a team sport. It's us, bro. It's us all the way. So I just thought I would share a little bit of what's been going on through the week, because normally we do the hard or nah segment with us, where we're either one way or the other, and it seems as though for a lot of people out there, a lot of people were one way or the other for the song Up the Wahs. So I thought I'd just share a little bit of feedback here from some of the fans out there. Some of it was really good. Best mashup ever. Some person wanted it to be the national anthem, which is always nice to hear. Lots of good feedback from the folks, just saying they're going to teach their kids the words to the song and sing it on game day. So that's the first section there, and I think they are well and truly hard. They're hard for Up the Wahs, so that's good. We've got a few more categories to run through as well. The next group was basically people who don't like the term Wahs. However, against all odds, they have decided that they actually approve of the song and are enjoying it. Because I honestly thought that going into it that, if you don't like the name Wahs, you'll probably just, tell me to piss off with the song. So they were all good with it.
I don't like the Wahs, but I like the song. Like, I'm still like that one of those Warriors, but like I say each their own, right? And I think this is great. So.
Yeah, for sure. There's been a bit of high profile support. Dallin got in on the act, SENZ Radio, the Kiwi NRL podcast. So Mad Butcher, he gave some praise, but just a little bit of feedback as well, which we'll get into as we go further along.
You mentioned about the shirt again.
Oh yeah, we've got history. The next category is actually fans outside of the Warriors. So BRVNZ said, fuck, the song makes me want to change teams. The Broncos song ain't shit. Parramatta fan, we've got a Roosters fan in there, absolute gold. Souths fan.
For the fans.
Even even an ex-Warriors fan has chimed in saying that obviously, you know, they've sort of walked away.
Whoa. An ex-Warriors fan.
He might come back.
Got a Will technician. Come on back, brother. Hook him eye.
Hey,
hook him eye.
The water is warm, bro. Come on back. It's all good. All is forgiven. I mean, you can understand it. You can understand why people would. This is the nah category. So,
what about Maratta?
Look, that was the one that really hurt the most because it was actually on my mind when I was making the song. And there is the line.
Funny.
Where we mentioned the Ford pack, you know, AFB, Mitch Barnett, Jackson Ford, Bunty. And I was thinking about working in New Korea there, but Jackson Ford just flowed a little bit better.
Okay.
And outside of that, I couldn't get a flow with to rhyme with the word suspended. So I was just like, I'm sorry, Maraka.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate Blake 89 and then T-Gang Horse 100 toe his comment? That is absolute gold. Absolute.
Take your tattoo.
What does it say there, Dad?
Comment
What
and
does it
tattoo it on your dad's forehead.
What does it say?
Oh, man.
Take your comment and tattoo it on your dad's forehead. So Blake 89, acting like on top of the table, you're just in the top 8.
Yeah.
So thank you, T-Gang, Horse 100, toe.
Yeah. So,
I could
Sounds
have
like
Nusa Taufa. Up the ass is quite funny.
yeah, I had a good chuckle at that. There was some other person mentioned about the Waratahs. It's for the Waratahs or whatever. Don't know who they are, but also it's not on here. But the first comment that I saw from the Mad Butcher was, he said it's pretty good, but it's a bit long. So,
sorry, Butch. And sorry, Gary Tinsley. Gary Tinsley, up the Warriors would sound better. Fuck the Wahs.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. To be fair, Gary, but
the Warriors, up the Warriors.
the Warriors. Yeah,
Don't worry, Gary. I'm sure you'll make that song soon. Just give it
Gary.
So
Gary.
all good fun, all good things. Also, another good thing during the week in the lead up to the game, man, we had some real good stuff going on. Sean re-signed for 2024, so we got a bit of clarity on, a little bit of clarity on his situation, perhaps a bit less clarity on who else is going to stick around. But also, speaking of clarity, Babywatch Part 2, again, gripped the nation as everyone was, Warriors fans were sitting outside, I don't know, Green Lane Hospital or whatever with their phones at the ready to snap Sean and Kayla going into the delivery suite. But yeah, they did have a bubba on Friday, so the nation sort of was able to just exhale and know that he was going to be okay to play. Thank God. Also, guys, in about 5 weeks ish, I may actually have to get taken out of here at halftime as well. So you fellas might just have to take over.
Well, if it's in the first 10 minutes, sweet. But there's 20 minutes to go.
You don't
just take us with you.
Just stay on. Yeah, I'm sure that'll fly with the wife.
Yeah. Oh, boys, what's going to happen when Jed's not on here? Oh my gosh!
Special guest hosts. Special guest host.
Let me get McIver in.
Yeah, we'll turn it over to McIver. We'll turn it over to the Warriorholic.
McIver.
We're going to be like, Warrior Ball.
Be a circus, won't we? Yeah, true.
Warrior Ball, yeah. That would be Warrior Ball. Now, lads, we've been talking about during the week as well. Now that we're getting a little bit healthier, or players coming back from suspensions or injuries and or whatnot, the need to talk about what our perfect bench is. So I asked you fellas individually to supply me with your own thoughts on who should be on the bench. And you'll go back to me individually and you'll come out with exactly the same bench. So made it nice and easy to prepare the graphics for this one. So here is your perfect bench. We've got
That's
Dylan
why we're
Walker.
Warriors Anonymous.
That's
We're
right.
all on the same page.
That's it. Singing from the same hymn sheet. So we've got Dylan Walker in there, Jazz Tavanga. Man, looking forward to Jazz coming back. Josh Curran and Bailey Sizzle.
Scissors.
Number 17. So that was, that was nice and easy from you fellas. Got any rationale that anyone would like to share on why you've chosen said bench?
There was an element of that, the Ball brothers reuniting, having them back. I think we've talked about Ciro being that person to spell Egan if Egan requires that as well, and not making Dylan Walker or Jazz Tavanga play hooker, because I think Suriname can still keep the dummy half flow going as well. His passing game is pretty good out of dummy half. He's really come on there, and I think the only thing I had is it may seem to the punters that it's a smaller bench, right, without any sort of out and out front rower sitting in there, but what it does mean is it means Tohu probably does play a little bit in the front row when Dylan comes on, and potentially I also think Murata comes into the middle as well if needed too, because he's a big scary beep beep, so we needed a bit of steel there. But outside of that, we've got obviously big minutes in AFB and just loving Mitchie Barnett, mate. He's just a beast as well.
Barney, how good is Barney going? Holy moly. Another standout performance from him today. Isaac, what I like from him is that he was making yards, especially in the early stages where we were struggling a little bit. Every time we seemed to struggle, he'll just come out and make a decent run. Either that or he'll just take absolutely no nonsense on defense and see a guy wrestling in a tackle and just come along and just get down. How have you been enjoying what Mitch Barnett's been doing?
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. He's just good energy. I think he's got the right attitude for the team. Whether he's on offense or defense, he's always trying to spark something. There was a couple of times in that early in the first half where it didn't really look like we were going anywhere, and then he peeled off one good run and just gave us a little bit of momentum for SJ to put a kick in. And then on defense, there was a couple of times where he flew up out of the line. Not necessarily a massive smash, but he stopped them in their tracks and, stops their momentum. So, yeah, that's probably why we all picked the bench to look the way it looked, is because we'd like Barnett to start.
Yeah, nice. Now, in this game against the Sharks, we took a little while to get into our work, it's fair to say. But we did get going, and we got on a real roll there, Moneta. What do you think, brought that about and brought about the change in this particular game against the Sharkies?
Yeah, I did notice in the first 15 minutes, like our ruck speed was not as quick as Cronulla. Like we were camped in our, for the first 5 tackles, we couldn't get past the 30 or 40 for the first 10 to 15 minutes. But I think we just kind of, did what we usually do, is kind of just stranglehold them and just kind of play strong to our D, and then we kind of just, I don't know, we just kept it, we didn't have as many errors, I thought, this game, so I actually don't know what caused it, to be honest, but I think we just, stuck to a simple game plan, and we didn't have as many errors, and we were able to, take the pressure out of the attack from the Sharks, and then we seem to be doing what we do now, is just kind of pile on the points in the kind of second end of the first half, and we kind of just keep on going. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. Crap, that's a lot of tries.
Absolutely. Bloody everyone at Mount Smart was absolutely loving it too. 44 points to 12. Warriors over the Sharks. 7 tries to 2. My goodness.
Almost a 50 burger.
Yeah. I mean, actually probably 8 tries to 2, my bad. But yeah, Buddha, what was your major takeaway? Because this was a big game. This was a couple of teams right in the race for the top 4. Not even just the top 8, but top 4. What impressed you the most in this performance by the Wahs?
A couple of things, but defensively, we nullified this Sharks. I don't know if you guys spoke about last week, but the Sharks sort of slingshot attack with Nico just picking holes and having runners kind of coming in late, or Will Kennedy as well. I mean, we put enough pressure on them to nullify it. We got lucky at times, but we had great defence right on the edges as well, and we shut them down as well. I think Monty came out and put a spooked Ramian as well, so we couldn't let them get into that part of the game. And as Moneta said, we absorbed that pressure at the start, and then we just went bang, 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 and just executed the shit out of it. I was talking to Zane during the week, and I said to him, we're talking about what are the Warriors need to do next, and I'm like, I feel we're at that level now. We need to start getting some of those kind of origin style plays, DCE 40-20, SJ hits a 40-20. We need to kind of exploit the blind side. Dylan, you can see him, he's just pointing. Next thing you know, off tackle 2, they go bang, bang down the left, and then they make a massive break. So I think that's the thing where we've just got the foundations of our game is really strong, and now we're starting to really, like, we had a cheeky little step kicking behind, and Metcalf was a foot. But like, just seeing that was like, fuck, we're just pulling them apart, man. Like, they're just seeing so many different opportunities, and there's so many different ways to score now. So that's just, it's for us Warriors fans, it's like, fuck, it's just Christmas, eh? It's so good.
He's a bit like the Roadrunner, isn't he, Luke Metcalf? He gets his legs going. Now, that 40-20 you mentioned by Sean, massive play in terms of helping get the momentum on our side. But also, he was combining beautifully with Wade Egan from dummy half. Isaac, what did you see from that area of the field?
I think Wade's he's taking his game to another level, I think. And he can run just as well as he passes. I think today was one of those tries where he ghosted through the line and threw a beautiful dummy to shake off Nikora, and he put it onto Metcalf's shoulder to score his first try. Yeah, but I think Sean just knows exactly what he's going to get from Wade. He knows the service is going to be good. It gives SJ the extra sort of second of time to do what he needs to do as well. And yeah, it looks like Wade Egan's just got a lot of time on his hands when he's playing. He's not overplaying his hand. He doesn't seem very rushed. When I think of him the way he plays, he tends to slow everybody else down. He gives them more time because he's got all the time in the world to make good decisions. Instead of making a bad decision, putting someone like SJ under pressure and then coughing up a mistake. So SJ must be loving this. Just a brilliant service he's getting from the ruck.
Oh, for sure. And like, you can see even Walker when he comes on, usually he's jumping in there at first receiver, and he's benefiting so much as well from that service. So in the second half, it was almost like a magic trick between Egan to him and then back inside to Chance. And it was like, man, just it looked so slick. But Moneta, one of the beneficiaries, obviously, was Luka Metcalf. And he was doing what he does, and he's been doing it for a few weeks. He was, he just ran up the tram lines in support, running, a good supporting area, as Buddha calls it, sniffing around balls. So, mate, what did you think of his performance in his revenge game against the Sharkies?
He's becoming. I think he's kind of locked that number 6 position, and I think he's getting better and better. And he's there in support, like that one try when you got that flip from Egan. So he's getting better and better. I'm going to find it tough to see how TMM could replace him. Yeah, it's a tough one now, because we've got so many players coming back. How are we going to squeeze them all in? But I think we have to keep Metcalf in, because I don't even think we've seen the full potential of Metcalf yet. And I think he's grown game by game.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think a major takeaway that I took from this game was not necessarily scoring tries, that was great, but the fact we took our opportunities when we were given them, largely, but we were also great at stopping them. We tackled them, held them up over the line, we pushed them over the sideline a couple of times, just generally got in the way of things. How do you think, what is that down to? Is that attitude? Is that the scheme of how we're, our shape in defence? What's your thoughts?
It's a bit of both, I think it starts with the structure they have in place and how they look to defend. And we talked about why we struggled in the wet so much the other week. Because we've got a real mobile pack, and when you're playing like the Sharks, they skin you for numbers if you don't push up on the inside. But we managed to kind of, except for that first try where we got caught on numbers, and Metcalf was, he had to kind of bite in, and Nico ran around him. But other than that, we just seem to have enough numbers every time. But that comes in from the middle, means our middle guys are working hard, and they are quite mobile, right? Like AFB is just phenomenal, eh? And you've got Barnett, you've got props that play big minutes, they're mobile, and then you've got Tohu's obviously a rock there, and then the guys that come into the middle, Dylan Walker, they just have the ability to, that lateral movement, move across, get out there, and then you overlay it with, we'll go through the wrap later on, but some teams just can't be fucked. Doesn't sound bad, but it's an attitude thing next as well. You can have the structure, but going to have the attitude, and we're just in sync at the moment. They just want to turn up for each other, and they get more satisfaction out of stopping tries than obviously they get satisfaction out of scoring them. But I think Webby's, every time he's in the presser, he's always talking about how happy he is with the resilience on the line, the defence, and it's been pretty good all year, really. Touch wood. Apart from that South game. It's been pretty tight. So, yeah, that's just a combination of both, mate.
You're really pleasing that we, looking at the whole season, really the Souths game was the only one where we got away from our game. We didn't win every game, but, we've just pretty much stayed true to what we're trying to achieve. I also like the fact that we are able to really defend those winger tries, where they sort of try and put their body out and reach back in, but we've been able to almost attack the body and send them out, before they can get their arm back in. But Saucy, a little bit further in, you called this last week. You picked young Rocco Berry to have a bit of a breakout game. And boy, did he what? How did you see his efforts? Sostradamus.
I'm glad he had a good game. I think, I wasn't the only one thinking that this was on its way. This sort of game from him was coming. But yeah, he was everywhere on both sides of the ball. He was awesome, but I think probably the biggest thing for me is that he's not afraid to give it a go. And I see he's a little bit of almost like an old school center. You just don't really see centers like him anymore. And that's probably why I quite like the way he plays. He's kind of, if I was going to compare him to someone from back in the day, I'd say a Matt Gidley type player. He's not afraid to give it a go himself, but he's got enough skill to sort of put people into good positions. I think just that one movement which really gave me Gidley vibes was when he was sort of ghosting through and he threw the dummy, managed to weave his way through, chuck it back inside. I mean, he's a creator, and I think
Gidley.
yeah. But Darwin's going to benefit from that. He has already. His service is just phenomenal. I think, and he's only going to get better. But I really like seeing an old school style play from a center, because centers are arguably, they're not really a specialist position these days. So it's good to see an out-and-out specialist center.
It's funny you should mention the name Gidley as well, because that's exactly what Raz Makia had saw in him a couple of years back. He'd been watching him in the Q Cup games and watching him do the, what he was calling the Gidley flick, the offloads and that. And he was like, yeah, this guy's going to be a gun. So credit to you boys for, keeping the faith in Rocco. What I really liked about him going up against Talakai today was that I actually felt like he physically dominated Sifa. And, I was not expecting that. I was kind of a bit worried that it could be the other way around with, the size that Sifa's got in his running game. But man, he Berry just got out there and just completely blanked them. And I was like, all right, that's cool. Something
was it
really
just
cool
me, or did anyone notice? Did Tohu knock him out? Like, there was a massive collision. They came together, Sifa, and he hit him back, and you see him sit down, and you see him kind of shake his head, and I'm like, surely, no, nothing. And he was pretty off for the rest of the game, I reckon. Obviously he was struggling with the pace of outside men, but yeah, they're fucking, I don't know. There's some weeks they're all over that stuff, and then some weeks fucking you can knock yourself out and get back into it.
Yeah, I agree. Consistency is what we're after, but
For the fans.
Moneta, for the fans. Moneta, we were super consistent with our lack of errors. How much is that going to help us if we can play like that with low error count going into the serious games?
I mean, that kind of showed today, right, against the top four kind of team. Just cutting out those errors, regardless, we weren't winning the ruck speed. It just kept us in the game. And, and then you compare it to last week where we still thrashed the team, but it was evident that, we weren't playing as good as the team, but we still made 8, 9 errors. Against a side like, the top four or Penrith or Storm, they would just I think they would capitalise over that. So I think, they must have had a good training session this week and around ball handling skills. And it's shown in terms of the improvement. And, I guess that's the good thing. You can only see them improving. And then on top of that, we're getting our squad's going to be fully fit within the next 3 weeks or so. We'll have a plethora of players available, which is going to create a bit of a healthy headache, a good headache.
Yeah.
For Webster.
It's going to be, interesting to see how we can just sort of fit everyone in. We'll get into the players, returning or set to return next week for the game against the Raiders. But I don't know about you boys, but my heart kind of jumped out of my chest when I saw Sean go down for a while there.
Oh, yes, he really did. Yeah.
My goodness.
Not the Achilles.
Oh, shit.
I was like,
So it'll be interesting to see what that is. He seems all right. He wanted to play on, which I guess you're not wanting to do if you've got anything serious to go on. I was kind of just hoping he might have caught a stray boot or something to the ankle or
it's like a knee or an ankle to an ankle or something.
It was like a knot.
Yeah.
He might have caught
Just
the
Rudolph
springs
got a
of the
bit
guy's
pissed
boot.
off.
yeah. But it does make you worry, though. He is so integral to the team right now that if, heaven forbid, if something was to happen to him, we have got the depth, but, there would definitely be a drop-off in quality.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what's always going to happen, though. You're going to have injuries, but we're just hoping and praying that the rest of the season he's in the clear,
Yeah, for
sure. It had me worried.
Yeah, absolutely. The nation had only just gotten over Babywatch, and then he went down with the injury. I was like, oh god, what's going on now? But in terms of the less than positive aspects of this game, we started a little bit passive, especially on D footer. How can we sort of just rectify that a little bit, because teams are going to start to try and really exploit that going forward?
Yeah, I think it's probably a symptom of not having Marata available. Bunty normally starts as well. Just a couple of bigger bodies in the middle just to nullify that front energy that teams like the Sharks play with as well. So, but I think they were just just got to warm into the game, just got to keep their shape. And, I always thought, once we absorb that and then we bring on Dylan Walker and, we get our fast men going as well. And we turn the tide and we get our back 3, back 5 going, then it will overcome it. So it's just about kind of like we were starting the season, right? We just needed to absorb the pressure. The difference now is we're not down 20 points or down 12 points or down 18 points in the first 20 minutes. We concede 6. Okay. Wake up call. And just feel that we've got the ability to outlast a lot of teams as well. Moneta said it, I think that between minute 20 and minute 40 has been our best period. That in our coverage, they showed a stat with, Dylan Walker for 60 minutes of football he's played, coming in after the first interchange, he was up 52-0 or something like that, because the period of time he comes into the game, we kick in, we go from sort of holding our own, holding the game, and then bang, So yeah. So I think just personnel out, 2 bigger bodies out today. Probably the issue.
Dylan Walker, man. I mean, obviously we know he's got buns of steel, but man, he's just so strong in the tackle, and he's only a little fella compared to some of these big forwards, but he pushes them back.
I'm so glad that Freddie's such a shit Origin coach because Gutherson. Just keep Gutherson. What for? I just like him around.
Yeah.
Like, the best 14 at New South Wales was playing for us, but that's okay. That's all good.
It was funny on the Fox League coverage. Braith Anesta was talking to Brandy, and after the game, he's just said to Brandy, "Is Wade Egan, one of the form dummy halves in the entire competition?" And Brandy was like, "Yeah, absolutely." He was really enthusiastic about it, and I was just waiting for Braith to, hit him up with the follow-up question, like, why didn't you pick him, sort of thing. But they didn't go there. They kept it, they kept it all above the belt. So that's all good. Now, Isaac, we obviously a 44-12 win. Yeehaw! Like, times are very good. What I would probably suggest is that on a lot of our fifth tackle options, they may need a little bit of salt. What are your thoughts?
Salt? What do you mean by that?
Well, just in terms of we didn't really finish off some of our sets. We had kicks charged down, or sort of not have their intended purpose, or we just didn't sort of take a few options on the last where we didn't apply enough pressure on them. I didn't think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's fair enough. I think it's just an off game, but you can see that the plan is there. I think that's probably the most important thing for me. They don't look like they're struggling to come up with something. They're probably just not executing it as well. But there's a massive difference. I mean, you see like a game like the Tigers play, like they get to the fifth tackle, they've got no idea what to do. They've got no idea who's doing what and who's kicking to where. Whereas at least with us, sure, the kicks maybe not executed as well as you would have liked, but there's a good general sort of idea about what they're trying to achieve with it. So I don't have, it just needs to be tightened up, I reckon. But at least it's the thought that counts.
That's right. Yeah. It is kind of splitting hairs, when you look at the end result.
Yeah.
But trust the process, bro. Trust the process. Moneta, another thing we could probably improve, and the Sharks really did it, almost exploited at certain times, particularly in that first half. Our ruck defense was a little bit shady at times. What do you think we need to do to just get that right?
I think that kind of comes back to what Daniel said. I think we're just missing a few of the bigger boys. Just kind of, the combination. So we didn't have Marata or Bunty, and you had Ale starting. So that was his first time starting, in terms of the game. So
Tamale.
Yeah, so he would have just kind of got used to it and so forth. But again, it's so hard because now, if you compare it to last year, we had so much to pick on. And now, this year, we're kind of, I always feel like, we're having to find things to fault. Because, like, if I look at it, everyone is, like close to having the best, year in regards to how they're playing. I mean, like, Rocco Berry and Luke Metcalf, Egan, Montoya, DWZ. Everyone's Pompey.
Oh, good old Pompey got a try. I was happy for him.
You've got to stop the Pompey hate.
There's still Pompey. I
don't get it.
Yeah, but everyone's so. Yeah, I think we'll fix that up. Like the Daniel said, I think we'll get our front rows back. Marata will be awesome to have back. I think, especially on attack and knee. He just has that presence, and we'll be right.
Yeah,
and no disrespect to like Ali, coming on and starting today, but you do know the difference. His first carry, he gets the ball, gang tackle 3, goes back about 8 meters. So it's a different gravy, starting to then compared to coming on, after 20, 25 minutes, the middle softened. And Jazz has talked about that in the past. As an attacking player, it's hard because everyone's fresh, right? So you need your big boys, that can stand in the tackle, and also, as Moneta said, bigger boys just hit. Marata hits guys, and they stay hit, versus the kind of to the bro wires up, the old furniture removing sometimes, packaging them down nicely with the little guys. You just
We'll wrap them up.
You gotta give it to Sean Johnson, Luke Becker. I thought they played pretty good this game, eh?
Big time.
Absolutely.
And then Sean, like last year, I used to berate him,
Yeah.
But this year he's just turned it up. That 6-pack is working out well for him this year. So
That's right. As I'd imagine a 6-pack would work. Now,
What's that like?
I was actually one thing I was really impressed with defensively was Metcalf looking after Nikora. He did a hell of a job. Obviously familiar from having spent time at the Sharks, but man, I thought Luke did a really solid job on him pretty much all game. And he, Nikora was trying things. He was trying different angles here and there, and Luke was just pretty much there, right in front of him most of the time. So, really, really cool to see that. Any more thoughts that you fellas would like to just throw out there about this game against the Sharks before we move on?
The last thing I'd say is that it was nice to again in a position late in the game that Tohu can come off, Dylan Wolfen can come off, SJ can come off, and some of those bench guys actually get bigger minutes in the game as well. So we're starting to manage the squad a little bit. Obviously, apparently Tohu was crook as well. So I've also had that forearm wrist thing, but he was sick. So that it's the way we're playing, giving our wider squad and that 17 more time as well. But naturally, I think we've got to be prepared for something to happen, and then hopefully we've got a squad. Someone can jump back into that team as well, because at the moment we're just flying with a pretty decent squad.
Yeah, nice. Poor old Tohu, he's we call him the last samurai, and man, he's starting to need all of that armor at the moment. He's just he must take about an hour to unwrap himself after the game, I think.
The mummy.
The mummy.
The mummy returns.
That's it. Now there was a couple of warm-up games, curtain raisers, if you will, for the Warriors against the Sharkies. The first warm-up game or curtain raiser was the All Blacks, who beat the Springboks. Hey? There was also a game, New South Wales Cup game between the Warriors and the Jets in the afternoon, earlier afternoon before the Warriors game. Bit of a frustrating one to watch. We went down 24-16 to Newtown again. Drat, they got us again, those sneaky Jets. And yeah, it was just generally one of those games where you watch it and you can tell that there's just a little bounce of the balls, just not going for you. They'll do a speculated kick and get the ball back and go off and score from that or whatnot. Or the referee made some interesting decisions. That's all right. So the good thing about that is that the Warriors are still sitting in fourth place at the moment. So just need to stay inside that top 5 mix to make the playoffs. Also good to see our boy, Tanner Stowell-Smith, got the start in the forwards. So, man, that forward pack in the New South Wales Cup, so young. It's like, you got Tanner, and then in the second row you got Leka Halasema. You got, there was Edamir, Toyava, and also Jacob Laban as well. And all these boys are, pretty much earlier in the year, under 19 kind of level. So they've gone from under 19, they've just skipped under 21s, and now they're playing reserve grade already. So that bodes well. What I didn't like was poor old Sky commentator was calling Tanner Matt White or Matty White or something. I was like, why is he calling them that? Anyways.
Why was he calling him that?
I have no idea. I was like, bro, that ain't Matt White. I don't even know who Matt White is. I didn't even see the name on the squad, but that's all good.
Sounds like an opening for you there, Jared.
Maybe. Hey, do your background, fellas. So I've been picked up for a game next week too. Not a Warriors game. New South Wales Cup game between the Penrith Panthers and Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. So I'll go and do my prep. Got to back up the talk. For the Warriors, they've got a game next week back at home, Go Media Stadium, against the Canberra Raiders. So that'll be Friday, 3:30. just after school finishes. Grab yourself a pie from the dairy and head on down to Mount Smart.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So hopefully the weather is nice once again for that game as well as the main one later on. That would be lovely. Now, Buddha, last week you had to abandon ship. the old internet where you were staying on location was not cooperating with you. So when it came time to do your NRL wrap, you missed out on your intro screen, which I've done up for you now, bro. So now that you're here, bro, give us this week's edition. Oh, hang on. I'll just set up before I share it as well. Pad. Give us this week's edition of Buddha's NRL Rap.
Oh, that's nice, eh? I got salmonella. She Buddha. Awesome. Hey, that looks really tasty, actually. I love the red onions. Oh, I love red onions.
Oh, yeah. We know you love a red onion.
You want onions?
So the wrap, Buddha's NRL wrap. So started off with Origin. Far out. How good was that?
Monita?
You know? Will it get Freddy? Will Freddy stay?
I don't think we'll keep it.
Please no. Please no.
It was just nice to have a decent game and a competitive fixture after the second Origin. Clearly, you know, Queenstown, they were just 5-10% off, right? And then the Blues had to play hard. But hats off goes to Cody Walker, just masterclass. You know, we talk about it all the time when we play them. You know what he's going to do. You know what he's going to do. You know what he's going to do, and just went and did it. And Bradman Best, he got. I fell for him because he was getting slated all week, eh?
Yeah.
And he just came out like a beast. So, yeah, how did we see that one, boys? Obviously, Moneta didn't quite get the sweep, mate, but take the series.
Yeah.
Moneta, was Billy and the boys just foxing a little bit, trying to keep Freddie in the seat for next year, were they? Or what's... There's been a bit of conspiracy theories floating around.
Part of me wanted New South Wales to win because, Origin, I like having it quite tight, like a tight competition. So
yeah,
it's good, soap opera for next year. So we'll see what happens next year. But I still, Queensland took it out, so that's all good for me. So
it's funny, because you think game 1 was lost in the last 10 minutes by the Blues, and then they win game 3. Yes, they lost. But they actually lose. When you think about it, there's every chance they could have.
I just think
held into game 1.
I don't get Freddie. That's all I don't get. Is the selection.
No, we need to get rid of Brandy. Brandy as well. He's terrible. But anyway, they make a decision in 4 or 5 weeks, I think. The New South Wales.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
So
got to make a change.
Make a change. And then you were talking about how poor the Tigers are, eh? Oh my gosh. Although Kalen looked pretty good. So Knight slapped the Tigers and Kalen looked really good, eh? But it's pretty easy to look good against a shit team like that, I think.
Kalen's getting back to his best. This whole thing about him playing in the halves should just be dead and buried. I don't know why they keep trying to put him back in the halves. Just keep him at fullback because he's a gun. And he was just tearing them apart. Plus, the Tigers are just really shit at the moment. I feel really bad for them.
Yeah, poor old Tigers. Did you see the Jack Hetherington slap as well? The new Will Smith slap.
Yeah.
This time it was Will Smith getting slapped.
Yeah. Keep my team's name out of your fucking mouth. Boom. Yeah. He's just a different avatar for Kane Evans, eh? He's just that sort of player, the journeyman, always gets riled up for nothing and will always cost himself his career. He's that kind of player.
And always somehow gets himself a team.
And then always somehow manages to sign up to a team. I don't
because they like the aggression he brings. So, it's like a ticking time bomb, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
He plays well, plays with a lot of aggression. He's physically a beast, but he's just got brain explosions in him. but not enough to completely implode. But and there's a theme throughout some of these games. What I thought is that, the Knights actually didn't, if they want to, they're on the cusp, right? I think they're probably out of the 8, but they're fighting for the 8. You can't let the Tigers come back like that, just before half time. You've got to, not saying we're the best team in the comp, but like we've not let these teams have a sniff, eh? And at this time of the season, you got to smack the Tigers. So, and that kind of follows onto the Bronx, who got the job done over the Dogs, but the Dogs actually showed a bit. I reckon they were hard to deal with. There was one try they scored, which I think they had about 8 offloads in the tackle. And either Carraz scores or Avarillo makes a massive break as well. So, but then you got Reno who just pulls the strings. And it reminded me of when watching Reno play live the Napier game, just how silky he is, and like SJ is now. They just, these elder statesmen halfbacks, they're not the physically at the peak, right? But they don't need to be, man. They're all guile, they're all smart. So just put these big forwards they've got into massive gaps. Pierre Quarter, is it Pierre Quarter? I think he looked.
Yeah, he's good. He's playing really well.
He looked the goods,
yeah,
as well. But again, the Broncos just let in quite a few, and it was quite tight for a wee while.
And they also let the Bulldogs ruin their try celebration. You see that one?
Yeah.
Reed Marnie slapping the ball out.
All for a good cause too. Come on,
I know, right?
Come on, Marnie. It's $5,000. It's $5,000 for a try celebration, eh?
Yeah, that's right. You got no time for that. Try July, bro.
Yeah.
Out of my face.
That's great, buddy. The Bronx were in cruise control, though, eh? That game.
yeah.
They're just...
Yeah, Cobbo got done for a forearm to the head, eh? This is something that's,
That was unlucky, I thought he was a bit hard done by then.
Well, it seemed like what Tino did the other week, and then he got to play Origin. And he broke up his jaw. But then Uppy Karasai came out saying, it was my fault. I shouldn't leave in my head. So, well. But
he's back too,
that led on to the Manly Sea Eagles game. And look, I've been telling you all season, guys, we've got them coming up, and they'll fucking, I just really there's a team I want to beat so much. It's Manly. They'll do it for Walker, eh? But they started off all right. But I just keep thinking, how good is it the fact that we don't have to play the Cowboys anymore at the moment? Well, hopefully that we don't get them in this playoffs if we make the playoffs. But they're a team on the up, eh? They've just got Origin class, eh? They get I think 5 Origin players, and they're just
team of freaks.
Silky.
Yeah, they're absolute freaks. You see there was a try where, they make a break and bloody Ruben Cotter just hits the accelerator up, up the middle and gets there right on time and support to just run away. And I'm like, bro, these guys.
Dale Holmes turned Garrick inside out 5 times in that play. And they just gas him at the middle. Looks good. And even Drinkwater, obviously didn't, it was in the wider Origin squad. They took Gutherson. Good for us. But he's, and the old classic. If you, why drink wine when you can drink water, eh?
That's some high quality H2O.
H2O.
Water
kind
boy. Can we go drink water with the water boy? Water boy.
H2O. Kind of like seeing this, but then you feel a bit sad because the Chooks are just in disarray, aren't they? I mean, they're a stack of injuries, haven't they? But they stuck it for a bit in the first half with the Storm, but just couldn't keep pace with them, eh? Xavier Coates, I dropped him out of my fantasy, and he went and scored a hat-trick. Fucker.
Oh, no.
He only got 55 points or something like that, so...
That's the problem with him. He can do freakish things and get still not crazy points, but
crazy scores.
But are they just kind of under the radar Storm, eh? I don't think they're like shooting the lights out, but but that pretty much seals the Chooks. Eh? They're cooked, I think. So, and then just before we came to viewing the Finns, man, they were leading with about 12 minutes to go. And unfortunately, the Panthers just ground and pound, man. Like, it is hard to get out of. It's like a chokehold. They just get you and you're down. So, but I want to give a shout out though to Cody Nikodima. Couldn't make a tackle in Warriors colours, but he's actually starting the fullback and he's quite silky.
Mm.
He looks good back there. He's actually playing with some speed, and he's actually putting his body on the line. Whereas with the Warriors, he was just the human turnstile. So it's just really weird.
Do you think the speed is just because he's in the presence of the hammer? Because that man's fast, eh?
Yeah. There's fast, and then there's Hammerman fast. So,
I just love everything about the hammer, eh? Fuck, he's just quick, man.
Yeah, right. I did also like that Moses Leota try celebration. You see that one? The bloody machine gun? He scored the try and was like, he was like shooting a massive Rambo, like one of those military grade. I was like, yes, that's my kind of try celebration right there.
Was he going,
Yeah, he looked pretty cheery while he was doing it.
He drew first blood.
Yeah.
There's some white boy on the Milky. They call him Milky, I think, out on the wing. And he was pretty good. I think he scored a couple as well. So they just seem to do that, the old Panthers. But man, they got a scary full pack, eh? With Lenu when he's on.
He joined the cup.
And just coming to air now. We've got we've got a game on at the moment. We've got just about to go to halftime. 14-all Para Gold Coast. That's a big game because the winner of that probably puts himself into the 8th contention.
All right.
But that's us. Nice and delicious, healthy.
Pardon me.
Wrap.
Our wrap. That was delicious. Particularly delicious and nutritious tonight. Thank you, Chef Butter. Isaac, we're going to spring on to the next segment, which is all yours, my man, and that will be the expense account for the week. Ching, 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 ching. Thank you, Greg Spence.
What was your audio for it? Yeah, there's some audio for it, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
For the Earth, Wind and Fire.
Do you remember?
The Commodores.
The Commodores, yeah.
The expense.
Breakers. All right. So today was the first time the Warriors had beaten the Sharks in back-to-back games since 2015, 8 years ago, and also twice in one season for the first time since 2010. Decade in the making or so. But hey, we'll take it over the Sharks.
We will.
Rocco star, hooray Rocco! Rocco Berry's 3 line breaks against Cronulla tied his career tally from his entire 21 previous NRL games. Picked it.
Good
Loved
work.
it.
Hey, Mulitalo.
You Mulitalo. And then the flying perm old Soul Glow. Across all grades and teams, DWZ has scored 24 tries in his last 15 games on the wing. He is going bananas at the moment.
He is the best wide finisher at the game at the moment, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
At the moment,
that's impressive.
How many tries is it for the season?
15.
15. And who's leading at the moment? It's 17 for...
Dom Young? Is it? Or?
Yeah, Dom Young. That's it. Yeah, he's got a double. But anyway.
And neither of them have played full games either.
No, they haven't played the full season. Yeah. Dom Young's again, but so's DWZ. And AF Beast, after scoring just 1 try in his first 32 appearances for the club, AFB has now scored 7 in his last 23 games. Yeah. It's almost 1 try in every 3 games for him. So it's pretty good.
So he's not Aladdin for Noah Blake
Not
anymore.
Aladdin for Noah Blake. AF Beast. I wonder if he might have heard our comment because he had trimmed the hair back a fair bit. And I was like, oh, I noticed it. He's not rocking the Aladdin anymore. And
Like the genie.
he's a genie. Anyway, another close to end. In the last 5 matches between the Raiders and the Warriors, the team leading at halftime has ended up losing. It always seems to be the thing against the Raiders, eh?
I remember that last time we played them and the ref it was like a real BS penalty against us. And I remembered that stat about, Greg had supplied us last time about it, and I was like, This is good. This is good. Let them kick it. Let them kick it. And they kicked it, and they went ahead, and then we ended up beating them. So
Yeah, that's
I reckon we could turn that curse around as well this week. Just saying.
and just beat them fair and square.
We'll play
Yeah,
them all.
just beat them all ends up.
Yeah.
We're breaking all curses this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big Raider killer, SJ, has been successful with his last 11 goal kicks against the Raiders. So 100% kicking rate for him versus the Green Machine.
Well. Thank you very much, Greg Spence. Thank you, Isaac, as well, for this week's expense account. Oh, what do we got a big game coming up. We've got a few minutes left as well before we wrap up proceedings for this week. Raiders coming to town next Friday night. Monitor. What do we need to do? What's what are we going to focus on in particular when we come up against Sticky? And
I think we're going to stick to the same game plan, stick to the process. Let's not change anything, I think. But we'll have Marata back and Bunty. So I would expect Tom Ale to be kicked out of the squad. Who else would be?
Probably Lussick, I'd say.
Lussick will be out, I think. So they'll have like Curran on the bench. Oh, shit. Who would they have? Dylan Walker, Curran, Sirenen. I'm really liking Sirenen at the moment. For someone who didn't really like him as much, and Daniel, you picked it, he's turned out to be quite the gun now. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying now.
You're
we're out of time.
Sirenen, aren't you?
Yeah. I dream of Bailey.
Bailey Sizzle.
Awesome.
The Raiders, they've got a bit of history this year. I remember them going into Suncorp Stadium, taking on an unbeaten Broncos team, and just bloody turning it up on them. Is there potential for them to bring that sort of intensity and focus next week?
Yeah, I mean, they're a big team. They play unorthodox football. They try to overpower teams. So we're going to have to be ready to absorb that in the first 20 minutes. But we've got to, as Moneta said, trust the process. We've got to back the fact that we will be able to run them off their feet in that sort of back end of the first half and through the second half as well. So long as we can. Yeah, the issue is you don't want to. You got to earn the right all the time, and we keep saying that. Like you got to make sure that they're doing the basics right. Kick chase is good. We're inning. As you said with our kicking. We're putting them where they need to be, and we're just strangling them down as much as possible. So
sorry, Isaac, is your house on fire?
No, it was Misaki just providing some special effects and just
It's great.
blowing the smoke screen out here. I had some Prince fucking video special effects.
It's working.
Misaki?
We should do that at the start of next week's episode. I like that.
Yeah. This is Sostradamus.
Hey, yeah, that's it. Okay, let's just get it to do it again. Get it to tee up another smoke. And Buddha and Moneta, we need to do spirit fingers for Isaac, and go Isaac, who is going to be our number one player against the Raiders this week.
Hold on, I'm just queuing it now.
Get the smoke ready. Ooh.
Now, this week for Sostradamus, I'm actually picking Adam Pompey to have a big week, a big game. I think.
Gracious.
I can't remember who he's going to be playing opposite. Whether it's going to be Tomoko? Yeah. But last time Tomoko played, he went bananas against the Dragons. I think it was the Dragons. So that's place. But I think Adam Pompey's due, and I think this is the week he does it. I think he's going to at least score one try, but I think he is going to have quite a good game. So that's my pick. For this week. I'm backing him. Plus, I'm sick of all the Pompey hate too, so I'm sending all my love to Pompey. I want him to have a good game.
Thank you, Wahs one. Wahs Sostradamus. Thank you. This is great. We're going to tee up that smoke machine for next week as well. Oh man, too good. Boys, we're going to go out of here because we're out of time. But thank you for an awesome episode. Bloody awesome week for the Warriors. Awesome week for Warriors Anonymous. Quick thank you to Richie Morgan from Warrior Nation and Rez Makiha from Warriors Uncut. Zane Matsumoto as well from the Warrior Holic. All those guys all just, sharing the Warriors Anonymous song and just, the Kaupapa Fire and Wide. So thanks to everyone for getting on board. And I guess we'll see what happens next week. But on behalf of Moneta Sauce, Daniel Wharakura and Sostradamus himself, my name is Jared Cronin, as we say every week. Well, actually, no, we'll add a couple more. This week we'll add a couple. We'll go up the Wahs, go the Warriors, and always bet on black.